Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio Railworld. We are rushing home extremely rapidly because there is a catastrophic disaster occurring. The biters have attacked the main base while we've been out on the other side of the lake. Luckily we have this railway and this train handy to get back as soon as we can. And we're just going to fly it straight into the spare train area. We don't care about it blocking the system right now, so we deploy some bots, sprint over as fast as we can, and try and stop them before they cause more damage than they already have done. And we dispatch them quickly, but the damage is done. The circuit outpost is basically destroyed, but we don't have any time to sort of lament its destruction, because right now there are ghost images of the entire factory, and we need to make use of those, because I'm not going to be able to remember off the top of my head the entire arrangement of the system. So what we do is we grab the train, and we're just going to bring it over and park it up somewhere. And I accidentally get hit by another train. The two trains jam together, and it's completely impossible to move them. In the end, I actually have to destroy the engines on the Megatrain, so I can send the other train on its way. And then I have to, well, I try and put the trains back, and they end up getting hit by another one. Eventually, things clear out, and I can get the trains in position. Frankly, I should have just left them parked there with the other trains stuck in the side of them. Because the ghost images are only going to last a certain amount of time, and once they're gone we have to do the whole thing from memory. So I'm just quickly grabbing the materials from the train. Luckily, it's designed for building bases, and right now that's what we need to do here. We need to rebuild this as quickly as we can. The 50 furnaces are not enough. There's so many on this outpost that we're going to have to resupply before we can finish it off. But the important thing is to put in all of the fiddly bits of belts, so all the underground belts and the splitters, and any little stretches of belt that we think we might need to do, just so that when we, once the everything has run out, we can still work out where everything should be. So we're just getting all of the, we're running around in sort of the most complicated area where there's a lot of bits that combine and split again. Next we're going to put the power stuff back in, so we've got our long range power poles and our substations, and hopefully it won't take too long to get this back up and running. I mean, it probably wasn't doing very well anyway, what with the recent situation with the lack of copper, but at the moment it's all just gone. They even destroyed one of the stations here, the circuit loading station, and also a bit of the track. So we've rebuilt that stuff. There's a couple of other bits of track that are broken, but I haven't noticed those. I'll fix those later. There's a couple of bits of the loading and unloading systems. They just started attacking those when I arrived, and they managed to blow up a couple of bits of it before I got there. But they sort of started in the core of the smeltery, worked their way out, destroyed pretty much all of it, and then moved on to the to half of the assemblers, but then split off and went for the loading next. So we've got a few of the stretches of belts back in place. We put in all of the missing assemblers. We've given them the jobs again, and sort of getting the structure of all that done. But we're not going to have enough blue belts to finish this in one go, because as you may remember from when I originally assembled this, it took many trips to actually get the whole thing to switch over to blue belts, and I don't know how many there is, but there's many hundreds. And you can see there we go, all of the ghost images have disappeared now. All we have is the wreckages. We can use those as an indicator as well, but it's less accurate, because all you can tell is sort of the size of the objects. You can tell if it was 3x3 and it was a smelter, or 1x1 and it was a belt. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the Megatrain back over to its loading area a lot sooner than I ever expected that to happen. I thought it was going to be like multiple episodes before we returned here at all, but then I didn't expect this to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and park up the Megatrain in its loading area. It can get fully loaded again, ready for when we set off, and then we're going to carry on with fixing things. Unfortunately, I completely messed this up because I go the wrong way. I end up going down into the section of the track that leads to Iron 1, and really I should have just built a new bit of track so I could have hopped over sideways to the Megatrain loading, but I didn't think of that. What I need to do now is try and maneuver around here, but unfortunately everything's sort of blocked up, partly because of the coal train that usually delivers to the circuit outpost, and I'm wondering why it's not working. And when I go over I realise that there is a bit of track broken. There is actually one more bit of track broken just above where I am, but I don't quite spot that. The important thing is that I've got the coal train moving so that things have cleared up a little bit, and I can try and move forward, but there's just so much going on. The only thing is that the Megatrain is so long that it's blocking the entrance to that loop as well as everywhere else. So what I decide to do is take control of the coal train, move it out of the way for the moment, and that gives me enough room to get back on the Megatrain and just sort of sneak it around through here. I end up occupying quite a few blocks that other trains are in just to be able to move, but then we manage to get back. What we need to do is just hop over into this side bit for a second. Well, I say side bit, it's the longest line of track in the network so far, but once we're in it we can turn the train around because it was facing the wrong way thanks to the one-way system. So we get it parked up properly and everything gets functioning again, and then what we can do is grab the materials that we need to sort things out. What I'm also going to do is just fuel the extra engines that we have on the back now. I'll probably keep them on because that makes sense, but I didn't build the system for it, so now it's going to be occupying multiple blocks if those are fitted, so it's a bit of a failing on my part. So what we then do is set up the unloading of the alien artifact. But the thing is that it's not really like the unloading system that I've got here is completely pointless, as my subscribers have pointed out, because all it does is take things from chests and put them into other provider chests. And I might as well have things unload directly into provider chests and just cut out this system here. As much as it looks nice, it literally does nothing, because there's no point in sorting into provider chests because they're about to be sent somewhere else. So we'll get rid of that bit, and that's all neater. And then we'll carry on resupplying on stuff, and then we need to go back over to the circuit outpost and continue to sort things out. We're going to leave the Megatrain there to be fully loaded. I think it's still not quite there. I think there's still more like engines to make and things like that. But anyway, let's go over here and quickly sort out where the alien artifacts are going to go. So put in a requested chest here, get it to request 20,000 alien artifacts, and that will get it all coming in from the Megatrain. Then we grab some modules because we are gonna need them with all of those with all of the smelters being destroyed. We need a ridiculous number of level 2 modules, efficiency modules to fix it all again. But anyway, we've managed to fill in all the gaps now in the smelter column, and we need to start putting in the all of the inserters, and we also need to replace all the belts so we can get things running again. So there we go. We now have well, some degree of operationalness in the copper. We're filling in bits. Some smelters can run again, and I'm putting that final bit of the rail that I missed before. There's a splitter that I've missed there. There's a couple of bits of belts that have been broken around in the assembly area, so we get all those connected up again. Make sure that's all working right. Grab a couple of bits off a belt that have gone onto the wrong side. We'll put back the belts on the outside of the assembler, and we should get this back up and running in a fairly decent amount of time. But I did not see this coming at all. When I saw the alarm about the warning, I assumed that the train had been blown up, which in a way could have been worse, because it would have left me with very little material back at base. A huge amount of stuff would have been destroyed, and it would have taken probably multiple episodes to reload the train. As it is, it's taking the entire episode to get this all set up and working again. But we've run out of materials once again. We've got nearly all of the inserters in place, and there's still quite a few belts to go. And we have nowhere near enough in the way of level 2 modules. At the moment, that's all pretty much shut down because of how things have been going. Because the circuit outpost is destroyed, there are no circuits coming through, and that means that the entire module system is being broken one way or another. There's barely anything coming through. I tried emptying my inventory into the assemblers to get a little bit moving, but it's only a temporary solution really. It just gets me a couple of extra level 2 modules for now, and I think I'm going to have to raid the Megatrain for it, because that has a stack of them handy, maybe 2 actually, I'm not really sure, but I reckon with the help of that we'll be able to make some good progress towards getting all of the smelters working again. Not that they'll be working particularly hard with the way the system has been going recently. We urgently need to get some new copper into the system, and I think the way to do that is going to be using one of the new copper deposits that we've discovered on our journeys around the lake, because of course they're right by a railway. The only thing we need to do is sort out a two-way system so that can operate properly. But anyway, we've got it nearly finished now. There's a couple more blue belts that need putting in. I also noticed that the iron ore supply was completely shut down, so I quickly fixed that by stealing a belt from somewhere else, and we'll replace that momentarily when we get everything else sorted. We're putting back all of the inserters for the assemblers, so that we can actually sort of produce circuits fairly well again. And the production begins, but it's not brilliant yet. There's still a lot that's missing. So we make our way back over to the main base to grab some more materials, more what do you call them? More efficiency modules, and also more belts. And this is rapidly turning into like sort of like not the sort of episodes we were expecting at this stage. I thought it was going to be the journey around the lake and then it would end, but we're back here at the main base again, once again working on things. Though we're going to make sure that this sort of thing can't happen again. I really should have like made more preparation in that respect, and had some proper defences set up for in case such a thing happened. And really, I was quite surprised when I realised that I had never actually put any defences on the circuit outpost. It was quite stupid of me, really. And I probably even like put it on my mental to-do list at some point and then forgot about it entirely, because it is quite important. But there we go with things running again, at least for now. And I think is that all of the construction done again. I've not put in all of the lights that were in previously. I don't think it matters that much because the outpost is as it will be at this point. I'm never going to be like working on it late at night. Any times that I'm visiting, it'll be to probably drop off some ore or like, well, in like upcoming times, it will be to put in efficiency modules and everything, and that'll be fine. But anyway, I was just checking up on the trains and stuff, and I thought everything was fixed, and then suddenly I realised that Oil Outpost 2 is gone. I didn't even know about this. I didn't even see the alarms for this place. But apparently this is where the biters came through, and they've annihilated everything about the outpost. There's only a little bit of the rails leading up to it left, and I decided that there's really no point in rebuilding the outpost at this point. The only reason that it was still there was because it was, it wasn't worth deconstructing it because it was still providing some oil. But at this point, there's no reason to put it back together again. So that's it. Oil Outpost 2 is gone. Though the wreckage of the rails will stay there. I don't know how long that stays there for. It might be that rail wreckage stays there permanently, in which case that's fine. It looks sort of cool if sort of cut off. But anyway, we're blowing up the biters now. We're having our revenge. I'm pretty sure that was the base that was responsible for everything. It's the nearest by far. It's sticking out a lot from the rest of them. But that's not enough. We're gonna push forward and destroy a good few more of them just to sort of really try and stop this sort of thing from happening again, at least anytime soon. And it wasn't that long ago that we cut things back here, but I don't know if this was the level we cut them back to or whether these are new outposts or not. Either way, they're dying now. We're going to clear them out almost up to the edge of the radar range. And hopefully it will take them a good long while to sort of push ahead again. But yeah, some of them I'm not even giving them the honour or whatever of being destroyed by my shotgun. I'm just walking at them and having my my bots blow it up for me because, I'm very angry with these guys for it was very, very underhand tactics to destroy the main base while I was the furthest away I've been in a very long time. But anyway, all of the sort of nearby bases have been destroyed, and we'll move on to sort of the nearest next job, which is to get rid of Mini Copper 1. It looks like it's all finished up, and I'm not surprised there wasn't much to begin with. So we're just getting rid of all of that, clearing it out, and we can repurpose the materials elsewhere. And it also stops being a target for the biters, because I imagine that they had their eye on that. But anyway, here comes the train in question, and we'll remove Mini Copper 1 from its timetable. We'll hop it out of the way for a second. That is going to block the rails, but we just need a minute to clear away the siding, because that's not needed anymore. And then with that gone, we'll hop back on board, and we'll take it over to Mini Copper 2, see what the state is there as well. Going by Iron Outpost 2, looks like a couple of miners will run out, but I'm not going to stop by for now. I imagine, even though it's only been like an episode and a half, well, I guess by now it's been 2.5 episodes nearly since I left. There's quite a lot of stuff in terms of miners that have run out, probably partly because they've been running so fast to get the Megatrain loaded, and even after I've left, they've been running fast to try and get the loading system filled out, which they've still not completed. But anyway, there goes Mini Copper 2 as well, so this train is now pointless. So what we do is get rid of all of its timetable, send it off to the spare train area, but we hop out before we get taken back home, so that we can go over and sort out Copper Outpost 4, because this one is nearly run out as well. It's really bad at this point. In fact, I think this is the last copper supply, thinking about it, because I know like Copper 1 and 2 have been gone for a bit of a while now. The Mini Copper ones are gone, and I see later on that Copper Outpost 3 is completely dead as well. So this is literally the last supply of copper. And because there's so little coming in, I decided to decommission one of the trains, which means that actually it's only being delivered to the main base now. I probably should have decommissioned the one going to the main base, to be honest, because that's got plenty of copper stocked up in the smelters and the chests and stuff at this point. But I decided to do it that way around because really, like, it's such a measly amount, it doesn't matter anyway. But what we're going to do is we're going to burn through this last little bit just to get it emptied out. So we just get 15 miners working on it, fill it all with level 1 efficiency modules, which we have plenty of. It's the level 2s that we're really having trouble with. With the help of a couple of blue belts, it all manages to work well and get that all sorted. So we send the train on its way, and we'll take it while we're going. And we'll go by Copper 3, which you can see just completely barren, empty, and all just dead. And we just need more copper really urgently back at the main base. It's all just shutting down and dying at this point. I'm wondering if I should set up some backup circuit production in the main base to make use of the copper supply that's there. That might be a bit of a help, which is sort of a step backwards really, because the whole point of the circuit outpost was, well, a major part of it was being able to phase out the circuits in the main base and show that the base could still, like, all the production could still operate even with completely outsourced circuit production. But anyway, we're resupplying once again. Well, actually, no, what we're doing at the moment is we're emptying out our inventory because we filled up with loads of random bits of rubbish that we don't need. We only need our materials for going around the lake, though it's still not quite time to go back home yet. Even by the end of the episode, there's still a bit of stuff that needs doing, but it shouldn't be long after we start next episode when we get back on track and get moving again with our mission around the lake after this less than brief interruption. But anyway, there's another thing we need to deal with over here, because the train to Oil Outpost 2 has just been sat here not knowing where to go, so we just get rid of it. Redistribute the empty barrels between the remaining 2 trains, I think it is. I think there's just the 2 oil outposts at the moment. We might need to build a new one soon. Though looking at the oil situation, it's all gone wrong while I've been gone. Without me to maintain it and keep an eye on the different levels of oil fractions, it's all gone completely wrong, and there is 0 heavy and light oil and completely overflowing petroleum gas, meaning that the refineries have shut down. The oil is just, like, crude oil is just sitting there not doing anything, but we've got empty storage for the heavy and light oil. So I've tried to fix that by changing the cracking plant situation, and also do a little bit of maintenance there on the coal, just getting rid of some old stuff that doesn't need anymore. And on my way back, I spot that things have gone really weird over here with these bots. They're all just endlessly recharging on a roboport while carrying ridiculous amounts of stone, and this is probably because I don't have any storage chests in my network, which is something I should probably do really, because I realise now that would have been a very good solution to that problem. But what I end up doing instead is restarting the rail production, which I didn't realise I'd actually completely shut down. I mean, I should have realised, because I completely redirected all of the steel production. So we've repurposed for the furnaces there to supply steel to the system again, so we get rail production again to help with the resupplying of the train. And there's a couple more things to put away, including a deconstructed train that we don't want anymore. And then there's a bunch of little bits and bobs that I just unload into this passive provider chest that I've left here. That is for just supplying any random stuff that might be needed that I don't want. So I just dump a bunch of random stuff in there. And at some point the bots come along and do start grabbing some things out of it at least that it wants. And there's still quite a lot of stuff in my inventory. I've just sort of ended up with more general things. And one more thing that I do is I grab a bunch of ammo from the production. Because we need to go over to the circuit outpost and sort out some defences. I also grab, of course, some level 2 efficiency modules to try and help with that. And then over we go to sort it out. We've got the night vision goggles on, so we don't need the lights to be there anyway. It doesn't really matter, because I'm basically wearing the night vision goggles all the time. They seem less harsh on the eyes than they used to be. A bit less green. I don't know when that was changed, or maybe I'm just seeing things. But anyway, we're going to put in a bunch of defensive turrets to try and make sure this never happens again. We're going to put in a perimeter of 16 turrets, loaded in total with 400 magazines of the submachine gun ammo, or whatever you call it. And basically the biters will have to run between some of these to get into the base. Basically all I needed to fight off that attack was a couple of turrets, and if I just supplied those, things would have gone a lot better, because they usually attack the turrets first. I'm also going to put 16 electric turrets or something thereabouts around it as well. to sort of help with that. But it's a good idea to have two different kinds of defences for different situations. The laser turrets, I think, are longer range and more damaging, and the gun turrets work without power. But anyway, with that done, we're going to go back to the main base, but I've noticed something wrong. There are no trains on the system, and when I go over to the spare train area, I realise that that is the problem. I've tried to send 3 trains into it when it only has the capacity for 2, and now I have to work out how I can get 3 of them to fit in the area. I mean, I could just deconstruct one, but I do actually have a plan for these, which you will probably see next episode. So I managed to squish them up to make some room, and the trains all clear out again, which is always a nice thing to watch, all these different trains taking their turns to move through the system. But anyway, with that done, we're going to move back to the centre, and next episode we will get back on track going around the lake, and until then I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.